Hello friends, welcome to UPSC AKHADA. Today we will discuss the Psychology Paper 1 2021. This is the first video of this series, and in this video I will discuss the question 1 of Paper 1. It is the essential question of Section 1. So first, I'm quite happy that there are a number of questions which are directly or indirectly asked from the Parishram test series. So starting directly from question 1. The question is, what are the limits of intuition and common sense? Why do psychologists emphasize on the scientific methods? Discuss. So it has two different parts. So think it might be for 5 marks and it is also for 5 marks in 10 marker. So in the first part, start with the intro part. Here you should define what is intuition and what is common sense and what are their limitations in the body part. So different limitations are hindsight bias. And also, please relate it to daily life. Give real life examples. For example, in hindsight bias, various astrologers claim that we predicted it COVID-19 because of the planetary positions. So, what is this? This is hindsight bias. Second is confirmation bias. Like we reconfirm, reassures our beliefs by taking the selective information. Also mention example. Now, inconsistent and confusing picture of human behavior. On one hand, we say familiarity breeds content. Like when we came to know each other more, we tend to like each other more. But on the other hand, we say familiarity breeds contempt. So these two opposing thoughts came out from common sense. So this is inconsistent. While the scientific research says more we come to know each other, we are less likely to like each other. This is what the research done by North and Frost et al. In 2006. There is an inaccurate conclusion drawing. Like, for example, there is a common belief like when you feel angry, you should let it out, like shout on the somebody else or shout in front of the wall. But as per the scientific research, it may backfire also. It may make you feel more angry, not less. Now, the point five is availability heuristics. For example, if you talk about the road accidents versus plane accidents. So we always say plane accidents, more people die in plane accidents because they are so dramatic and we have intuition or kind of, you can say there's a general belief they are more unsafe. But fact says the vice versa. Road accidents kill more people. So this is the availability heuristics. Can mention this example also. And last, overconfidence. We tend to think that we know more than we do. You can mention that. Now, part two, connecting. There's a connecting line. There's a limitation in this non-scientific thinking. Psychologists emphasize on scientific methods. It's an elaborative stepwise process. You people are aware of that. We make a hypothesis, and then we collect information, we analyze it, we infer, and then we draw conclusion. When we test the conclusion again and again. So this is the retesting also is there. So it is quite elaborative process. Then systematic empiricism. What is that? That we have systematically collect the observation, make recording, analyze it, and finally do the research. And it is valid and verifiable. Like valid means it measures what it intended to measure. And it can be verified again and again. So it is quite precise and accurate. Unlike this common sense and intuition based, it is also logical. It can be replicable across situations, and it is self-correcting. For example, Freud's theory was self-corrected even by Anna Freud and further by psychosocial psychologists, or more precisely, psychodynamic school of psychology. And in conclusion, you should give some optimistic view, like our constitutional values. We should develop a scientific temper. Article 51 it says that. And the The attributes of scientific inquiry like curiosity, skepticism, and open-mindedness should be adopted while thinking. So while discussing with students, they also want, sir, please tell the sources. So if you talk about intuition and common sense, it is from the Baron. And for scientific research, you can say take help of Passant Smith and IGNU notes. IGNU notes are more precise. Now coming to next question is regarding brainstorming. Challenges during group brainstorming process. I shared a PDF. You can go to the Circle of Psychology channel. There you find in the docs you will find it. 3 to 4 pages. Well, quite sufficient to answer this. So in intro you should be objective. You should give the definition. It's a group creativity technique given by psychologist Alex Fakisne Osborne, where he in the book of Applied Imagination he mentioned it. I find there is a scope of diagram because before challenges I can mention the principle and the process. Only then we are able to know the challenges. So there are two principles of brainstorming. One is defer judgment, and there is a reach for quantity with the intention of reducing social inhibition and stimulate idea generation and creativity, which contribute to ideative efficacy. It is the key word. You should definitely mention it. And please, after every diagram, you should use this. This is the figure of effective brainstorming process based on Osborne's work. Now, challenges. This is the body part mean you should mention, and the way to write points are with subheadings. But it clearly states what you are writing in the body part of this point: blocking, collaborative fixation, evaluation apprehension, or also related to that is stereotype threat, like different, you can say different caste people setting based on their ideas, people stereotype them and have contain, you can say, prejudices against them. Free riding. So if there is any psychologist name, you mention it clearly. Then personality characteristics. Introverts may not find comfortable and social matching. So these are with subheadings. I mentioned these all these points, and there are 6 different points which are, we can say, good enough to score +5 in this answer. And in conclusion, these are the challenges. You suggest one or two solutions for it, like guided brainstorming or electronic brainstorming or effective and efficient session of brainstorming. The source for this is Osborne's The Supply Division book, and I also shared a link. The next question is discuss the role of psychologists in resolving interpersonal conflicts and social unrest. So it was the intervention of psychologists in two aspects: interpersonal conflict and social unrest. So here you can innovate a bit in intro. You can, because conflicts and unrest are, you can say, underlying factors in a diverse environment. So India is a diverse nation full of ethnicity, religion, races, etc. So you can give that where interpersonal conflicts and social unrest are eminent. Now coming to the point in the body. Here we write the resolving interpersonal conflict role of psychologist. So I also defined interpersonal conflict briefly: disagreement between people with respect to goal, value, and attitudes. And also I boxed the heading, which increases the visibility, the content written clearly, structured manner gives you more marks. So this is the main motto behind this boxing. Now, if you talk about the theories, one is interpersonal therapy by Sullivan. So mentioning the names of psychologists shows your knowledge of psychology, which is a good attribute of a good answer. So you mention it gives sense of self, create good feeling towards others, good image, the Kurt Lewin sensitivity training, which allows you to think from others' perspective. So it also automatically reduce conflict, then cathartic release. Here I uses the presentation in the form of flowchart. Like usually it happens frustration, aggression, conflict. Then frustration, aggression, catharsis, then relapse of pent-up feelings and avoid conflict. So it is a diversified form of presentation. Then one is contact hypothesis, which is in by Dollard et al. Contact allows knowing each other, which break stereotype, prejudices, and automatically reduces conflict. So this is point number 4. It was regarding interpersonal conflicts. Now come to social unrest. What is social unrest? I mentioned it purple color. collective dissatisfaction, which may manifest into unconventional ways like violence. And one thing to notice that from point 4 I come to point 5 because it was not separately asked. It was asked in continuation. Psychologist intervention for interpersonal conflict and social interest. That's why it's point number 5. Like creating common identity. Gartner and Dorido's concept was there. So in National Education Policy 2020, it should be classroom intervention to create a common national Indian identity for every student in this country. Now, one is that Sharif et al. Superordinate goal, and which should be national development. Then equal state contact from the contact hypothesis only, reduce the power differential as suggested by Hofstede, and relative deprivation as suggested by Gur. The jigsaw puzzle. You should line one lines because I'm just giving a brief outline regarding the answer, not mentioning writing the full answers. So I'm just mentioning the theories or interventions and examples, real life examples, jigsaw puzzle, Aligarh Log Industries there, where Hindu and Muslim workers work together to make world class logs. And the last is conclusion, which is also very important, which shows your vision also, how being an administration you see. So vision or motto of government is Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. So the psychological intervention can help you to achieve that. So you should mention it. It's a good connection of your GS knowledge with psychology. Now coming to next question, mass media in shaping behavior of adolescents. This is the question one from test 26 of Parishram. Here you can give the contextual intro. Like you read some report that TV Universe Estimate 2020 report says that highest growth in TV viewership is from the adolescent group. And this these facts bring mass media at center stage of shaping behavior. By this context, you tells the importance of this question. Why this question is important? Because adolescents are watching TV more and more, and how it shapes the interview. You can use various theories, James Marcia, RNT, exploration, because it's a information. Mass media gives you information knowledge, so it allows to choose different careers. So RNT formation quite facilitated in that aspect. Then psychosocial development, we interact over social media. There's a lot of you can say interaction on the virtual medium, so it also facilitates the psychosocial development of the adolescents. Now, physiological changes. There's a quite anxiety among the adolescents, both male and female, because of their secondary sexual organs. So the information shared by expert over various virtual platforms or mass media help to reduce their anxiety in this aspect. Then vicarious reinforcement in the form of role models, Pandura. You can mention the example of Neeraj Chopra. He's a gold medalist in javelin throw. Now, youth are opting for javelin as a sport or as a career because mass media is covering him a lot. The other one is cognitive development, Piaget's formal operation, personal fable, imagery audience. For formal operations, we use the very learning apps like Baiju. We go for imagery audience, Instagram to satisfy this imagery audience need or demand. Another schema theory also tell that there are various situations we don't know how to tackle. So mass media gives us the script for that. For example, relationship management or how to perform better in your exam, XYZ situations which are which are available on YouTube and various platforms of mass media. There's a moral dilemma which is quite like Kohlberg's conventional and unconventional, or you can say post-conventional dilemma issue is there. So, for example, live-in relationship in traditional society like India, we don't live in, but uh, youth watching on YouTube or a web series where two opposite sex members living together without having marriage in US. So this create moral dilemma. Go for the social norms or create your own morality. So mass media also help to address these issues. Next is negative shaping because negative aspects of also there like addiction is there, binge watching, PUBG, fear of missing out, social withdrawal, mismatch between real self and virtual self, split in the personalities there. More you consume media, more you come to know that mean world syndrome is there. World is mean. Desensitization, you can say more appetite for violence, aggression, obscene things, low self-esteem, especially in girls, body shaming, cyberbullying, aggression, Bushman et al. Study, you can study for that. So now you conclude with a suggestion. What is the suggestion? Like Press Council of India suggests to report for obscene or antisocial content, or media houses should have also self-regulations. So this answer can be written in two ways. One from the perspective of development psychology, one from the mass media. So I choose development psychology. I took various conflicts or tasks of adolescents and related to mass media. From paper two perspective, you can say there are different theories of mass media: cultivation, agenda orientation, schema theory. So you can answer in that manner also. It's your choice. But being paper one, I go for development psychology. And now the last question of this video. With reference to concept of memory construction, evaluate the accuracy of eyewitness testimony in judicial trials. It's a very direct question. You can say there's a 90% of overlap from test series. So here I explained the concept of construction, memory construction, because it was asked reference. So concept of memory is that it's not a passive store but a dynamic storage which get updated by experience, expectation, and knowledge. And I directly come to the eyewitness testimony accuracy with various researches like the pioneer in this is Loftus et al. Misinformation effect. In 1974, they conducted an experiment. I show it with a flow chart, with a simple, like there was a car accident. They frame the statement. In one statement, they say it's a hit, and in the other, they say it's a smashed. So in hit, they reported the speed was less, and in smash is 41, and also reported broken glass, which was nowhere. It was out of the blue. So it shows that memory is constructive and prone to suggestibility. Even the Nizer et al. In 1992 also said that the most accurate memories, even like flashbulb, are prone to decay and alteration. The recent researches by Lifano et al. Named the semanticization of memory. He said that in PTSD patients, only meaningful gist remains intact and other details vanishes from the memory. Barrick et al. Studies also there. Bartlett's classical study of War of Ghost, where cultural influence was quite visible in the memory. Brewer's pragmatic inferences. It suggested that in lack of evidence, we create our own conclusions. So I ended up this answer with the view of Bartlett that every memory is a blend of knowledge and inference. So with time, inaccuracies creeps in. So our judicial system should rely on other evidences than eyewitness. So here I stick to the context aspect. So right now, this is all for this video. Thank you.